Hello, everybody. Uh, not starting soon. We're starting basically right now. Yeah. Sorry for the slight delay. Those of you who have been already watching for the last 10 minutes know that I've had some fun with my microphone, which meant I couldn't grab a bite right in time, which in turn means we are late now. But that's okay. So no housekeeping today other than follow us on RC, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, whatever you find. Okay, and here we go. Today we have remainders of, of our food in the teeth. That's really annoying. Okay, today we're gonna talk about the underpinnings of everything open embedded and Yocto. The basis of all things you see inside a recipe, and that is variables. I think we can look at one recipe just to see the absolute bare minimum for a second, and then we're gonna look at how those interact and how they can be modified in recipes, in appends, in classes, and how this all interacts. So, I think you can hopefully see the terminal. Hopefully it's also halfways readable, because this is a session that has a lot of new technology underpinnings. Not only streaming from Windows as the last couple of times already, I'm also streaming with a Pocky instance inside Ubuntu, inside WSL. So this is really everything happening inside Windows right now, which is like, okay, let's see what happens. Okay, and this is. Do you all have you also heard these being sounds? You hear them. Let me remove them. So I think it's better without the being sounds. Being sounds are really okay. They are gone. That's good. Core. I think BC is in core. BC is not in core. BC is in extend, which happens to be my absolutely classic recipe to look at. I have no clue why. Okay, what can we see here? We can see a lot of assignments basically. We can see an assignment to something called summary. We can see an assignment to something called homepage, license, all that. These are all really the absolutely minimal examples for the usage of a variable. It's an assignment of a constant value. No magic about that. Then, if you scroll down a bit, there's a little more magic. Two things we can see here right now. We can see a week, a super week assignment, a question mark equals. This only assigns to this variable if it is not yet assigned. We will get to that in a second. And there is an assignment to an evaluated variable name, alternative PN, which means this is assigned to the variable of the expanded name. What does this mean? We want to look at the variables, and usually how we do this is bit_bake_e. Everybody knows it. It looks like this. I know this is not a drink, but I'm in a hurry right now. You've seen there's a lot of text scrolls down. It's super awesome, and we couldn't read absolutely nothing. So the classic approach is either to first pipe it into less or more, because less is more, and then look for the search the exact variable that we are interested in. And in our case, this is, let's say, alter, because this is exactly what I just mentioned. There is an assignment to alternative underscore BC. BC is what this $PN expanded to, because PN is the package name. In the expanded form, it is BC. Therefore, alternative BC is whatever it stands. I'm not going into the contents of the variables at the moment, just more into the whole overview thing. What we can also see, and this is even the more interesting thing, is that there is the whole history of the variable expansions assignments right above the final value. You can see it here. There's alternative starting out with this. It is set here, and then it is expanded in name, and this is the outcome. Like I said, this is really something rather simple. We can even look for something simpler, like I think we said summary, for example. You can see that there's a lot of summary stuff already. Summary was a bad example. I apologize. But for the rest of the session, we will use the example recipe, which does happen to be quite a bit simpler. Okay, it's there, and let's look at the example as in itself. Meta. I just created an example layer which contains basically nothing else than the recipe example. It's really just bitbake layers create layer name. I only did this early, so and I even went into the wrong one. Recipe example. Okay, here it is. So this is really a super trivial example. And what we're going to do now, I'm going to tinker with that, and then we're going to look at the output once I finish finish my confused state of mind. Okay, here we go. Lithium to magnesium. Recipes, example. Example. Okay, what are we going to do now? We're going to add a variable. Variable names are arbitrary. I think they have to be short ANSI character set. Just starting with a letter or uppercase, you know the common best practices that you can easily guess when looking at a recipe. And we're gonna add a variable with a proper name of foobar. Foobar is ASTF. I think that makes sense. So we're gonna bitbake example. And we're gonna look for foobar. What I'm doing right here is you can see the dash, right? Not the dash. No idea what's it called in English. It's the regular expression for start of line, so I don't get any superfluous matches. Okay, you can see again same applies. History, exactly the line, even the character where the assignment happens. Okay, that was level 0. We have a variable, a static assignment. Then, okay, quick vote while I have a drink. Shall we do default and conditional first, or shall we do appends first? Appends plus equals. Have a drink for a second. You vote. No votes. Okay, then we're gonna do adding first. Now Quentin agrees, as usual. Okay, first thing we're gonna do is plus equals. Please note, there's plus equals, there's equals plus, and there's appends too. We're gonna look at everything. I think we can do a little bit, some of them all in once. Okay. Exp. Please note, plus equals expansion 1, and foobar plus equal plus is expansion 2. Let's look at it. And you can see the ordering is affected by the exact operator we've used. What plus equals did basically append. You can see plus equals we used for expansion 1. Equals plus was a prepend we used for expansion 2. Simplest. One thing to note, here there are white spaces, blanks in between, which we did not explicitly add. If you use plus equals, then those get inserted by default. Okay, let's do some more. Let's explore the point operator as pointed out over on RC. And here we go again. I think I will start drinking early today. Seriously. And the dot, you can easily see, does not add those blanks. Another thing that does not add these blanks or remove them is append, but append works on a different parsing stage. I think we can see that when we look at the evaluation history. Let's do pluses again, and then we do foobar append is app1 and foobar prepend, hopefully prepend equals pre1. And I guess you can notice then that the history of that simple variable is becoming pretty long, and that's the only really cool trick I have for you today, which I will come to right after I finish that one question over at IRC. As usual, I'm happy to take any questions about everything Yocto. I just don't promise an answer to everything, okay? Kind of off topic. Yocto over Lightweight Server Distro. I think the main point of the question is, has it advantages over run-of-the-mill distro if you're on x86 anyways? It really depends. It depends on the support you have to provide guarantee on your use case. There's no one-size-fits-all answer to it. Feel free to dump a question on the mailing list. Feel free to get in touch with us later. But it's really it depends. It absolutely depends on your use case. Okay, so bitbake E gives us a boatload of stuff, and when we'll do that in a second, Robert. What we're gonna do now is get rid of all the stuff that bitbake E gives us. Because if there's one thing that Unix is good at, or Linux, is it's text processing. So what we're going to do is right now we're going to use awk. And awk has the absolutely most awkward syntax I've ever met. I can only make it work by Googling and beating it into shape. But I think this one does the trick right now. Hold on. Okay. Nope, it's like this. Okay. And then dang. I was so certain that this would work. And here you go. You can see we type bitbake, the recipe in question, this magic awk incantation, and all we get is the full expansion history of that one variable. That's cool, right? Time for a beer right now. I think that one was well earned. Because raise your hands. Everybody in the room who has been staring at less and grabbing and everything for the last like 10 years, the Yocto Project is around for that time. Who's going like whoa right now? Homework for all of you. I couldn't find a way to create the regular expression out of a bash expansion or something like to insert the name twice. That's like super arcane bash magic. Then I cannot do that. Okay, but here we have our magic incantation, and now it's time to really look at what has been happening. So first is we do the classic assignment. Then all the plus equals are being evaluated, and then the append, and then the prepend. This coincides with the ordering we had here. I didn't point it out earlier, but recipes are like parsed from top to bottom. So, and if I'm not mistaken right now, I'm gonna look at this. Foober, assignment, append, prepend, and then the plus equals again. Let's look at it. Cheers. Then you see the outcome is essentially the same. Because, like I said, the plus equals or equal pluses get evaluated first and the appends later. This will be really important when we talk about appends then. So you see, ASDF assignment plus equals append. That's it. Why did my mobile just? Nothing important. Okay. What are we gonna do right now? Shall we do bbappends first? Shall we do bbappends first, or shall we do conditional assignments? Sure, Robert. I think I can do that. Quick vote. bbappends or conditionals? No vote again. Okay. I hereby declare that we will do bbappends then. So, this is the original recipe that we had. We're gonna create another one right now. Live session, metal, lithium, metal, sodium, just so, and then here we go with example bb append foobar plus equals XYZ. XYZ is cool, right? Okay, here we go. So let's first check if it gets correctly applied. But bake layers show appends. Okay, example gets appended the way I want it to. Magic incantation again. And arc magic right into IRC, of course, too. Okay. Now it gets crazy, right? You see? The original. The first plus equals, the plus equals of the BB append, and then the underscore append of the original recipe. That's what I meant with different parsing stages. This is really important if you try to do modifications on image install. Image install is one of the variables that can really drive you nuts, especially if you want to tinker with it in local.conf and you want to append the image recipe. So do not ever append an image recipe. Copy it and beat it into shape for whatever you want. Okay. So the append, you see. There is the question. I have the question why the name is Chester. There is a Yocto Project ambassador program. And ambassadors are usually like super serious, well-dressed folks who are wasting their money on champagne and talk to politicians and super important people and are all the time super well-behaved. And historically, there has always been a Chester who wears a funny hat and makes a lot of nonsense and is allowed to speak the truth as opposed to the ambassadors. And I do not wear funny hats. Usually I wear funny t-shirts, I get drunk, and I talk about whatever I like, and therefore I declare that I am a Chester. That's it. Okay, back to the topic. I think it's time for conditional assignments right now, and then we hopefully can do a BB class. Okay, conditional assignments. Conditional assignments, I think we also have to do weak assignments, but later. No, let's do weak assignments. I think weak assignments are more fun. Okay, let's start with a weak assignment. ASTF. Look at it again. Nothing happened. Why? Because weak assignment does mean do not assign if it is already assigned, which we are gonna do right now. We're gonna put it into conf, local.conf, right at the end. Foobar is default. Let's call it default. Okay. Magic again. And hopefully we can see right now that there is no ASDF right in between anymore. Okay, parsing takes a bit longer now because local.conf was modified. This affects quite a bunch of recipes, and therefore it takes a bit longer. Time for more beer. Another word. Am I looking friendly and happy enough? My wife told me that I always look so stern, and I'm talking to like grumpy. I like being grumpy, but that was actually not my intention. So I hopefully I'm giving a friendly and cheerful impression today. So this is still parsing. I think that was a bad idea, but it happens. Okay. And here, okay, it already gets longer. I think we have to get rid of a couple of assignments. You see? Local.conf gets pulse first. It sets default to the variable. Then in the recipe, there's weak set with a question mark of ASTF, which that is not being honored because there already is something assigned. And then the rest of the stuff gets applied as usual, and we end up with this expression. Now, conditional assignments. We can also do override, so just so you see it. Okay, we are building for. Let's just do. We're building for distro Pocky machine QEMU x86 hopefully, but let's just test this, and therefore we use the classic approach. Machine. Okay, that was a bad idea. Machine equals not found. Machine. What's going on? Machine. I feel like stupid now. Okay. Anyways, then we're gonna use distro. Distro is fine too. Distro. Distro name is Pocky. I think that's fine for us. Okay. You can do variable magic depending on what distribution and or machine you are building for. I happen to know because I prepared it that we are building for QEMU x86. So foobar QEMU ARM is ARM. Foobar QEMU x86 is x86. Before we get rid of bit of the expansion history, let's look at this. What I expect to see now, hopefully, is first the local.conf assignment, then the weak assignment, which is not being honored, then the QEMU arm assignment, because this is a conditional. The QEMU arm assignment not being honored because we're not building for QEMU arm, and then the foobar and then the QEMU x86 assignment being honored because that's the machine. Hopefully I got this right. Let's see. And I messed it up, of course. Machine arch is what I wanted, says Robert, but I obviously messed it up. Probably this does not work with direct assignments. That happens. Okay, let's test it with assignments, but let's get rid of a bit of it. QEMU arm plus equals and remove a bunch of the extra assignments. That doesn't help us. So I would now expect that only one of those is being appended. I've messed up way too not exactly enough in this session already. The machine in local.conf is hopefully super weak assignment QEMU x86. It might be exactly, Quentin. That's the point. You are right. Let's check this. What in the world would I do when I'm getting drunk while streaming without my lovely mates on IRC? Arm. Let's just replicate this. And then we can test it again for the assignment as it was. Like I said, we will just see what happens. I prepared a little bit, but not everything. How many people are in the Twitch chat anyways? Can everybody who is in the Twitch chat just like type something? You can type whatever you want. Because there's some kind of funny bonus thing on Twitch if a certain number of people are talking at the same time. So I think you can just type whatever. Just type it and press enter, okay? So let's look at it. What has happened? I've gotten rid of the pen, so that's true. Default is being set. This is not being set. This is being appended. This is being ignored because not. This is also not being ignored. Also being ignored. This is being used. And therefore we see that. Okay, not exactly what I expected it to be, but sometimes interesting things happen. Does it also work with the direct assignment? Let's see and find out, I would say. Everybody learns something today, including me. Okay, this is what I expected right now. The override is assignment without the blank, without the leading blank. Yes. And so this is expected. Robert, tell me why. Are the appends processed in the very last stage? Exactly. The space is gone now. That's what I expected it. I don't really get why. Yeah, the space. I don't really get why if I do it like that. Let's get rid of the default. This also overcomplicates the thing. Let's do it like that. And also remove it in local.conf. Okay. See what happens. I really wonder why the initial value is being lost. Because if you look at this, I assign, and then I plus equal upon conditional. And Quentin says that I've hit a complicated topic right on a live coding session. That's my today's luck. Let me see what he wrote. Foobar override will override foobar and foobar append prepend. Okay, so overrides, and I think I remember why I was doing the whole thing. I was doing the whole thing. I planned to do the whole thing so I can mess up live and everybody can learn something. Exactly. Quentin, you just typed it in the very same moment I wanted to say it. If you are using overrides, don't use plus equals. Use appends. Because those will work again, if I'm not mistaken. This is another reason why you should usually use appends. And Quentin, you're just ruin my fun in messing up. Seriously, I will run this now, even if you already typed that it won't work. Okay? Here you have it. So we see it didn't work, just like Quentin said. But I wanted to do it the wrong way. I will do it wrong at least once, so everybody can see that it doesn't work. I hereby prove that it doesn't work if you get the order wrong. So now for the right way. This is the right way. If you want to append something for a machine only, here it is. Don't tell me I'm wrong again. Yes! Now you can see we've got the initial assignment and the append of the bb append, or the plus equals of the bb append, and then the override dependent append in the end. You can see the difference because the plus equals of the bb append has the space, and the override dependent append does not have the space. I think that makes sense for somebody. Not exactly for me, but I'm just the one who's telling you live. That's my job. Okay. And Robert says the syntax is completely unreadable. Yes, I think we can all agree on that. But I'm not here to agree or to say that it is readable. I'm just here to tell you how you tinker with it. That's the objective for today. And I think we're doing pretty nice. I think it's time right now for let's just point out that the override also can trigger on on the distro. And the distro, you can even combine it. Let's be super crazy, okay? We can get rid of those. And now we're gonna add yank 2p. Okay. We all know that our distro is called Pocky. So we append Pocky. And is it machine or distro? Oh, we will find out. And okay. And for reference that you do not, I think, what are, let's just look at that. I think that's fine. Just like I said, we can trigger the append by the machine, by the distro, and by the combination of machine and distro. This is the call to everybody who ships BSP layers. Make sure your recipes only modify default behavior if you're really building for your machine. Otherwise, you are breaking stuff, because it's a completely valid use case to have a build set up for more that includes more than one BSP. And if you are not properly appending with all of your machine depending overrides, then you are breaking stuff. This is not good. So what shall we do? I think we can do a BB class right now. Shall we do a BB? We can do a BB class in the layer that no, let's don't. We're gonna do it. That's stupid. I have stupid ideas, and I'm just babbling. I hereby invite everybody who wants to get a more concise and more valid explanation than I could ever give to head into #Yocto on Freenode IRC and ask Quentin, because he knows way more about it than I do. I'm just an idiot with a headset and a webcam and a beer, which is also cool. So let's do a class. mkdir, is it class or is it classes? I think it's classes. I'm always wrong, so I hereby check. MC, come on, MC. Classes? When it says classes. But why is my MC stuck? Classes. Okay. mkdir. No, not mkdir. Vim. Foobar. bb class. Foobar is classy. Hooray! Now what does this change? Not in conf, you're right. What would I do without you? MV classes 1 up. MC. Robert, for the record, I will also put the magic expression in the companion website, so no worries that it gets lost. Okay? MC is failing me. I have no idea why MC is failing me. So now we have in the layer a classes directory which contains foobar bb class, and let's see what happens. Nothing, just like I expected. So what we really want to do is right now inherit foobar. Super cool, right? I could not inherit file classes foobar. Why could not I? Foobar VB class. Classes, foobar class. I hope that it would be around. Meta magnesium. Classes. Ah, typo. So here we go. Not included. We do not include classes. We inherit classes. And here you see it gets set in the class, classy, and oh, it's nowhere to be seen. Can you guess why? I can. And I can because what did I say right in the beginning? Recipes are evaluated top to bottom. So whenever we put an inherit at the top, we can override everything inside. This is really an important thing because ever so often people are going like, I have this class and it does things I do not want. It sets something I do not want. I want to modify it. Do I have to modify the class? And the answer is no, you do not have to. You just inherit the class, and in the lines right below the inherit, you change whatever you want to change. It's simple as that. It's top to bottom. And therefore, here we go again. And now we can see exactly what is happening. ASDF gets set, the inherit gets pulled in, classy, and the rest of the magic is being applied. That's how it works, folks. So, I think that was kind of like the things I wanted to show. I can put the layer in this state with the cross layer appends on GitHub for you to curse it. I will also put all the notes and everything into the companion website as usual. Hopefully the recording is up on YouTube by tomorrow. Any other questions? I'll stick around for like the rest of this beer. Let's talk about something. Anybody of the not usual crowd who has been around for the Yocto Project Developer Day 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago? I think it was 3 weeks ago. Any remarks? Shall I present something there too? Like how to mess up in front of an audience? Or any other questions? I just try to remember what is a classic approach, the classic problems we have in okay, sort brain, and just trying to remember what classic problems we see in support are. And okay, there's a question. The question is, what about removing things? Exactly. I spared that because remove is really problematic. Remove only works once because it means all of the operations have to be carried out. So whenever you have to type a remove, it is there. There is something like this. We can try it. Foobar remove Pocky. Let's see what happens. And you can see it is being removed. But the ordering here is hard to predict, and as far as I know, remove works only once. So if you happen to have the bad luck of pulling in a layer that does a remove on something already, then you cannot remove again. So the worst case with a remove that can happen is that you have a BSP layer that does a remove on distro flags or something, and then in your own application layer you cannot mess with it anymore. Therefore, always do only add things that you really need. And if something is added that you do not want, then do not try to remove it later, but make sure that it does not even get added in the first place. That's the same approach as with any image. That's really a point that we see pretty often. Actually, I think it was only on the mailing list last week, which was I have an image and a lot of stuff gets installed I do not want. How can I remove it? And I was like, why do you install it in the first place? There's no reason to do so. Make an image recipe that only pulls in stuff that you need. Therefore, do not ever build and compile and waste your computing time on stuff that you don't need. Do not remove things later. Make sure only things that you need are being added. That applies for variables that we have talked about today. That also applies to packages in images. And the comment is the best practice is to avoid entirely amount of flags added in our code. I would not call it flags. I would rather call it variable contents, because not everything is being a flag. But basically, yes, that's the point. Make sure only stuff is being added that you need. We have a lot of magic in place to achieve that, which is being the machine and the distro dependent appends. There is even a more complicated magic that can append upon a specific flag being visible in distro features or in image features. I don't. Image features was a bad example. A prominent example is adding stuff depending on distro features. I really cannot find yourself. Even do I have to? I think I even can. I think we have like a couple of minutes left, and therefore let's just try and find out. Let's try and find out if I can do this. Okay. Cd command and found. Let's get into Pocky. Meta. Okay, and AG. Do I have AG installed? Distro. Features. AG is installed. Okay, and let's pick something that is that suits my this is all like targeting package configs, which is not exactly what I wanted to. Tar. I think this is a neat example. Recipes example tar. Okay. Let's recipes extended tar. And here you can see a more elaborate version of what we have been talking about. Here is a super weak assignment to package config, and then something is being appended to package config if this expands. So if distro features contains ACL, then something is being done to the variable. And that's really one of the ways to go. Make sure that you only append stuff if you need it, and if it can be triggered by a specific distro feature, then that's a cool thing. Yeah, that's okay. That's another neat one. You you do not have to restrict yourself to distro features that are already in existence. You can define flags that go into distro features at your own will, and that's what we in my company do about all of the time. When we want to trigger a specific behavior in the build, then in our custom distro we introduce a flag that is called like custom behavior. And then in all the recipes that we want to trigger upon it, we have contains distro features, custom behavior, which then in turn modifies the configuration of the build. Therefore, we can by switching on the distro, we can modify exactly what goes into the build. And how about variables and multi-config behavior? Any funny things? Oh, good question, Robert. I think actually not that much, because whenever I have used multi-config by now, it was pretty straightforward. But I've also just used the super trivial use cases. Let's make it like that. I will put up the companion website in the next 1 or 2 days, and if you know of funny remarks and brain breakers that you know of, send me a pull request with Robert says this, and if you want to know more, hire me. I think that's fair game, and then you get everything out that you want to convey. Okay, I think that's mostly it for today. My beer is not completely empty, but I'm working on it. As usual, thanks everybody for watching. We did not exactly code and build stuff today. We were just like more coding right inside BitBake evaluation today, but that can be fun or enlightening too. As usual, follow us on Twitter, Twitch, LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram. Join us on IRC, and I don't think that there's more to say than have a nice evening right now. Take care, folks.